What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Bubba Speed Career Mode in MotoGP 20, and we are on our way to the Grand Prix Czech Republic in, of course, Czech Republic. Wow, I was stupid. Anyway, we're going to Brno, guys. Another track where, kind of like Assen, where I do like the track, but I'm just not that great at it. I don't know. I think we got a win in Assen, which was surprising. But yeah, I'm not feeling that confident in the Czech Republic. Generally, when we go to Brno, my goal is to not lose too many points over my opponent. And I don't mean like, hoping to get 15th or something. I'm talking about like, I'm hoping for a podium. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a lap because I do feel like, it is one of those tracks where if you get it right, it's really, really fun. Now, it is a faster track, so I believe it's more fun on the MotoGP bike. On Moto3s, I do think it's really, really boring. In Moto2, I'm finding it where it's more or less fun. It's like, it's kind of like that in between. It's just that kind of middle ground where it's not great, it's not trash, it is what it is. Moto2 is kind of like that, and some of these tracks where I feel like Moto3, the bike is like amazingly fun to use on a track like Sachsenring, whereas MotoGP bikes aren't that fun to use on Sachsenring. So there are certain tracks that are more fun on certain categories and certain classes. So I just feel like this is kind of like a middle ground where Moto2 isn't great anywhere, but it's also not terrible anywhere. And Brno is one of those where I feel like if you have a lot of power, like on a MotoGP bike, you're really gonna have a good time. And if with a Moto2 bike, you can definitely move along, but it's not gonna be anywhere near as fun or as fast. So obviously that's kind of the case, but it is what it is. Brno, I feel like it is a really, really beautiful track. I bet it's just stunning to see in real life. Being in the middle of the woods, and it's just with the level changes and all that. It seems like a track that would just be stunning to ride around. I mean, it's just looking at it, like, especially because when I actually play the game, I don't notice the detail around the track. I don't pay attention to that, but looking back at it right now, it's just like, look at the work they put into the rest of the track. I mean, yes, the trees don't look great, but in general, it looks like it must be an absolutely stunning track to be on. So, definitely a track I like, just not that good at it. As we almost crash out Luthi once again, which would have been even funnier because it's in qualifying, so it's like, even in qualifying, the guy can't catch a break. I think we got pole. We do. A 2.1. I don't know if that's a good lap time or not, but it's giving us pole. We're not that far ahead either. We're actually only 1/10 faster than third. So, interesting, very interesting. Luca Marini having a really, really hard time in qualifying. He's right there in the title race. So that could be bad for him. Obviously, Marcos Ramirez qualifying last. No surprise there. Alright, time to get a good start. This is a track where a good start is very, very important. It's not quite as important to say Sachsenring or like Thailand or tracks like that, but I do believe this is another one where it is very important. We're going to try to keep it a little bit wide because I feel like there's going to be people trying to dive around, dive in the inside of us, pause. And I just don't want to I don't want to risk any unnecessary contacts and being crashed out by people that are behind us. So I just want to try to do our thing, especially because, like I said, in Brno, it's not really a track I expect to be dominant in. So it's just important to maintain a certain rhythm. We almost crash out Luthi again, shocker. And obviously with a heavy bike, it's not as easy. We say that every single week, but it's just the truth. You can really, really feel it. Like up until lap 2 or 3, you don't really feel comfortable on the bike. Or at least I don't. Running a little bit wide, but that's fine. As long as we don't get any penalties, we're completely okay. And it's actually really promising that we've kept the lead so far. If we can survive this left-hander, we don't. Almost Luthi. And it looks like, who the hell is that? Is that Navarro? Getting past us. No, Navarro's way back there, so definitely not. We're going to try to dive around the inside. Keeping ourselves up front is really, 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 really good for us right now because this is where we're going to expect to struggle the most, and the fact that we're able to keep up front, it's actually really, really good. Marini is moving up. He's all the way up to 7th, so he's not just going to sit there and just take it. He is trying his best. Joe Roberts actually hits a pass, which is surprising. As Bubba heads into the last couple of corners, penalty. Half a second penalty. That's huge. That's a huge penalty. Especially because I don't feel like we gained anything out of it. I mean, yeah, I guess we cut the corner, but we didn't gain anything because we bumped and all that stuff. So I would say that was actually more detrimental than helpful. We're cutting these corners way too tight. I mean, that is not something we did in qualifying. So making huge mistakes here. The pressure of having half a second penalty is huge, especially to start off the race, because you know lap after lap that's going to be weighing on your head. You know, it's a difficult thing to deal with, especially because the last sector is actually where I'm slowest at on this track. So not good, or maybe the first sector is where I'm slowest at, but you know, between those two I'm not exactly good. So that could be a huge issue. But the important thing is that we finish around Schroeder. That's the only thing that matters right now. We have a big lead in the standings, so we don't have to worry too much about that. We just have to do our thing, and of course we are doing our thing week in, week out. I'm actually really surprised about how good we've been doing. I was expecting to have a really hard time in Moto2, moving up. The first season is always pretty difficult, but I guess between having a good bike and doing pretty well and developing it, I guess that kind of helps. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is gonna be the first time we actually win in our first season in a class, because of course Moto3 we did the season in MotoGP 19, so I don't count that as, I don't count winning Moto3 and MotoGP 20 as the same as winning in the first attempt, because it was technically the same series. As Luthi tries to get Revanche, tries to crash us out for once. I mean, I would have respected him more if he'd actually done it, but I guess just kind of showing, look, motherfucker, I'm not here to play. I'm here to fucking kill if I have to. I guess that is kind of ballsy for him too. So I do respect that from Luthi, showing a bit more fight than he showed over the rest of the season. That's much better. That's what we need to do. The second corner, we don't come out of it quite as nicely as I would have liked, but definitely a lot better than the first one. That first lap really cost us a lot. We have a 0.7 gap, so as of right now, we would win the race. Running a little bit wide in the chicane, which is a little bit frustrating, but we're still maintaining, I would say, a nice rhythm. And if we can get a good drive out of this final corner, then we should be fine every lap. It really is just all about that right now. And I do feel like, you know, 0.9, we did show in this lap that we have what it takes to go and be dominant. That's a 02.02, so still about a second, I think it is, off of where we were. Maybe only half a second or so. I can't remember exactly what our qualifying time was, but we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Our tires are starting to get warmer, so that's setting us up nicely. As you can see, we have actually a really nice gap. So I guess I was wrong. For some reason, I always feel like in the first sector I'm slow, especially like in qualifying. But even now that I think about it, even in qualifying, we had a second. We were like half a second faster than everybody else in the first sector, almost 0.6, and then we lost pretty much all of it throughout the rest of the track. So I guess the first sector is actually where we're gonna pull away the most, as long as we do our thing. Cutting this one a little bit too close, could have gotten a penalty there. Really need to stop making these mistakes. Definitely going way too tight in this corner. Gonna get a nice drive coming out of it though. That is positive. And I feel like if we can go, I don't know, I'm feeling really good. Now one thing I want to say about this track is that I really believe that like the biggest issue with MotoGP right now, and this is kind of like a complaint that I have, that it's not really a complaint because there's not really much that can be done about it. It's that there are too many tracks that favor specific teams or specific bikes, obviously, and that's normal, because there are like home tracks and stuff like that, believe it or not. But this is one that really favors Ducati, and I do want Andrea Dovizioso to win the championship, but I just wish, I don't know why this is something that annoys me. I just wish that there was a bit more parity for bikes between tracks, and I understand that's retarded because it doesn't really make any sense. I just feel like there's so many tracks where the Honda is so much better than everybody else that it would be nice if Ducati could actually get themselves being consistent. So it's not really a complaint with this track in particular, it's just a complaint I have in general. As we actually have another fastest lap of the race. Holy shit, a second cut off of our previous time. And I don't know, I just feel like, you know, one of the things that I dislike about Formula 1 so much is that how good a bike is, or how good a car is, really essentially defines who's going to win the championship. Because you can't tell me that Sebastian Vettel won however many titles he won in a row, and all of a sudden Lewis Hamilton can't lose, and Vettel can't do shit. It's just, that goes to show you that it is 100% based on, yes, a little bit the skill of the driver, because obviously Hamilton destroys his teammate every time, but it really is mostly depending on how good the car is, and it's so frustrating. That's one of the good things that MotoGP has maintained, is that yes, it is still so much about the bike, but you can put Marc Marquez on pretty much anything, and I believe he would be successful. Maybe not a Ducati, because I think he would probably kill himself with a Ducati, but with a Yamaha, I think he'd be successful, and obviously the Yamaha isn't quite as good as it once was, but I just feel like you pretty much put him on anything, and he's going to be extremely fast. Whereas in Formula 1, I feel like if you put Lewis Hamilton on a Ferrari, he's probably not going to win championships. Whoever is the top guy that goes to Mercedes is going to win the championship. So yes, I do have some complaints about MotoGP, but I also do actually really like the fact that there is still a lot of competition, and a lot of that, actually, now that I think about it, is because there are tracks that favor different bikes. And I mean, fair enough. It's just, I just wish that there were some more. I guess my complaint is that I wish there were more Ducati tracks, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. So that was a weird complaint by me. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah, shocker. My brain is mush and I say something stupid. We actually have a huge lead, 3.5 seconds, which is just truly surprising. We're running it wide, actually putting ourselves in danger of crashing out. We just can't make huge mistakes this lap, and we should have it secured. Almost a 2.3, 2.2.5. So definitely much slower in this lap than in the previous one, but that's all down to the fact that we made a huge mistake towards the end of the lap. So we still have a nice lead. Let's see, come the end of this first sector, if we can have 4 seconds over our opponents, then that's going to be just huge for us. Intelligently going on to one fuel, because we have plenty of distance between us and second. We don't need to risk anything. Coming out of here a little bit wide, which is frustrating, but still should be enough to have a nice gap. I say anywhere from 4 seconds. There you go, 4 seconds, 4.04. We are definitely going to win this race unless we crash out. Or unless we have some kind of huge moment where we almost crash, like go and fly in the dirt or something like that. And we have to take our time to get back on track. But I don't believe that's going to happen. I do believe we have another secured win, which is pretty insane. Like, the fact that we're winning all these races and struggling in qualifying, etc., is just kind of surprising to me. I did not expect this. Running wide, really wide, actually making a bunch of mistakes right now. Frustrating, but thankfully we have plenty of distance between us to probably gain. No, we actually pulled away, which is really surprising, considering I don't feel like we're actually doing very well on this lap. But yeah, we're pulling away nonetheless. Going around. This right-hander is going to take us down the hill, then back uphill, taking us to the last 2 chicanes. And that's going to be it. As long as we don't fuck up here. Cutting it a little bit too close for comfort. Nicely done to the second turn. And there you go. We pretty much have won the race. I would like to see where Jay Schroeder is, or whatever. Mark Schroeder, I guess I should say, not Gray Schroeder. Baldassarre is second. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, running wide, saving it. Don't crash, and we're fine. Luca Marini drops to 8th position. He's really blowing his chance of winning this championship. And there you go. That is another win. That's like 3 or 4 in a row for El Bubba. Schroeder finishing 4th. He dropped a lot of points there. Luca Marini 8th. A race to remember, win a race at Brno. So we are starting to win at all tracks too. I think we've pretty much won almost every race this season so far. So we're looking, sorry for the yawn, really good. 80-point gap between us and Marcel Schroeder. 105 over Luca Marini, who has dropped a lot of points over the last couple of weekends, which is not good for him. But we maintain a very steady pace at the top of the standings, and we are doing very well. We're doing way more than I would have expected, as of course Bubba is enjoying life right now in Brno, a track I did not expect to win at. And I will say this, when we go to MotoGP, if we do end up winning the championship, then there will no doubt be a difficulty raise. So I think we'll only add by 5 or 10, just because I feel like right now we're at the point where every race for the most part is competitive and difficult, so it is fun, compelling racing, and it's not, so it's difficult enough, and I don't know, I just feel like it's the right difficulty right now for this class. We have, like I said, we have these offers from KTM and Aprilia, and of course I said this in previous videos, Aprilia isn't a bad one. Like, I don't dislike the team, but a factory KTM I feel like has a lot of potential, Obviously, team performance is at the max, and they don't require anything crazy. They require top 10 race finish, championship goal, top 5, qualification goal, third row, so obviously the front 9. And they're offering some decent money, so I do believe this is the offer we're going to go after. Like, Aprilia is offering significantly less money with lower expectations, but I don't know. I just feel like KTM has more potential. Aprilia's, I don't dislike, but I also believe that they're going to have a really, really bad bike. I just feel like they're going to be really slow top end wise, whereas KTM I feel like is probably at a point where they're already relatively competitive, and I just feel like that's probably where I want to go, especially because I want to destroy Paul Espargaro, who is one of the pupilli of my main man Joe Pina, who I like to roast a lot because I don't like Paul Espargaro. He makes a lot of huge mistakes and costs a lot of people races. So the choice isn't that easy. Now, we could also wait a little bit longer to see, but if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the end of the transfer window. So I think probably the best option is just accepting KTM because it guarantees us a factory spot. And there you go. We're going to go ahead and sign it. It guarantees us a factory spot in MotoGP for at least a couple seasons. And I believe we can actually carry them to their first title sometime down the line. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this series so far, what you think of the season so far. Is the difficulty too low, etc. Thank you so much for you guys for watching. I'll see you as Bubba Speed heads to the Grand Prix von Österreich in Austria, and I will see you guys then.